What's the best no experience required job? Night security guard. Spend your evenings studying up to be something else. Grain silo work. $25 an hour and mostly all you do is sweep or take a nap. And sometimes explode. The railroad isn't a bad gig. Great retirement plan. And regular pay. Engineers can make north of 100k. Just be prepared to be on call all the time. Railroads are definitely great employment. Locally pay is $25 for a shop helper, which requires no experience. You've got to be on point though, because if you screw up the union will throw you under the train faster than the company. I used to work for a small clothing store at a resort hotel in Waikiki. I worked many retail jobs in my time in Hawaii and had to deal with about as many rude customers as you would anywhere else. But something about this place put all the customers in a good mood. Maybe the fact we were on the beach, and I almost never had to deal with rude people. It was a fairly slow gig too, which gave my co-workers and I a lot of downtime for babysitting, which we did plenty of. It was the only retail job I ever had where I never felt stressed out. On a lot of days we would open the doors to let the tropical breeze in. The standard outfit was shorts, t-shirt and flip-flops. Us guys who worked there loved to flirt with the girls in a little jewelry kiosk next to us, and we would get hit on regularly by 14 girls and their drunk, middle-aged mothers looking for a tropical island fling. We used to actually fight for who got to take out the trash. Because the dumpster was on the beach, we would always time trash takeout for sunset, and even the manager didn't get angry when it mysteriously took us 10 minutes to go to the dumpster and back. At the time I was living in a studio apartment in Waikiki just a couple blocks away, and it was a 10-minute walk to work for me. If that job had paid a living wage I'd probably still be there, but I couldn't afford to live off my salary there, so I had to quit, move back to the mainland and go to grad school so I could get a career job. I'm a college professor now, making a decent living in a respectable career, but sometimes I wish I was still selling t-shirts on the beach in Waikiki. That was beautiful. A couple years back there was a girl who auctioned off her virginity for something like $700k. I'd say that. This is the first job I've seen where no experience was absolutely required. If you can get a doorman gig in Manhattan, it's $50k a year plus a crap load of tips plus full benefits, holiday pay, sick time, personal time, and they offer classes to be an electrician and plumber, AMD, stuff like that. A good building will see you with $20k a year in tips. $50k, $70k ain't much in Manhattan. Hotel desk clerk. Get paid to play if 5-10 hours a day, light cleaning, and other duties that take less than an hour. This is pretty much only an option for girls, but nannying. I get paid $15 HR to go hang out a wealthy family's house with their 7-year-old girl 20 hours a week. Yesterday I was there for 8 hours and we braided bracelets, colored and played trivia crack. Token white person on Chinese or Japanese boards. There are some people who are professional white people, sit on a few boards of directors in China or Japan just to make leadership photographs look like they are an international bunch. No work required except looking distinguished. I delivered pizza for 3 years and made more money now than I am working as a post-grad temp. $13 HR. But I also don't spend $300-ish, depends on hours, a month in gas, so it's a trade-off. Most Friday and Saturday nights if you factor in tips I'd make a bit more than $20 HR, but it was generally for only 3-4 hours bursts. When I started opening on the weekends it was nice because I'd get about 8-10 hours a day on my paychecks, then make at least $120 on both Saturday and Sunday. And if it's football season, I'd sometimes make $500 from tips alone from a Friday night shift, then opening Saturday and Sunday. It's really dependent on hours, though. I worked 35-40 hours a week and worked longer shifts, but T worked because I was still in school, so working weird hours was easy. If you get into it but only work about 20 hours a week, you're generally working 3 hours rushes, and while the burst money is okay, you aren't building the money on your paycheck and you aren't going on trips where you take 4-5 deliveries, which is super efficient time money wise. It's very easy to get stuck in pizza delivery if you're getting the good shifts and making good money. A lot of people get used to taking home cash in pocket every night. and it's easy as crap. It tends to make every other occupation seem like a bad idea. I've seen quite a few drivers where I work not quit until they are forced to due to getting in an accident or something. Stagehand. Most cities have labor companies that provide people for the entertainment industry specifically. Yes, the hours are long and the work can be heavy, but it generally pays well and you get to be involved in some pretty nice events, concerts. I started out as a stagehand, straight out of high school, worked hard and moved up in the industry. I have worked in many countries on short and long projects. I now design and earn a good salary. It's still possible to make it without university. As much as it could potentially be a nightmare, babysitting as a kid was a really easy way to have money. As like a 12-year-old, I would go over to a neighbor's house at like 6, feed 2 kids dinner, play a board game, put them to sleep and then watch TV by myself and get paid for it. No experience required so much that little children are trusted with human lives. It's really hit or miss, depending on the kid's parents. Sometimes you get a good normal kid who eats his vegetables. Sometimes you get the spawn of Satan. Sometimes you just gotta roll the dice. Be a Twitch girl streamer. You play games and neckbeards give you money. Must be difficult for them with the new rules about showing cleavage and whatnot. My friend works in fishing in Alaska half the year and freaking loves it. Half the time on a boat, half the time doing packaging and crap in a warehouse. No experience required. They even pay for your plane ticket there and back, Alaska, and room, food, everything. She works like 3-4 months a year and travels the rest of it. The hours are rough, but it seems like they make it fun while they're there and save a ton of money. It may not be perfect. You basically fall off the map for a couple of months, but to work like that then have money to live your life for 2/3 of the year easily. It has definitely entered my mind a few times. Shop manager. I had that job all through undergrad. The owner only came in Friday morning at 11 to pick up the deposits. Other than that, my only work was ordering more tapes on Wednesday and restocking on Tuesday, plus 10 minutes of late tape collection calls. I gave myself all of the day shifts and hired staff to work nights. What that meant was that I could sleep until 9:30 every morning, be done work at 4, then get to my 4:30 or 7 PM class and always have my weekends free. I would bring in a lawn chair, do my readings, write essays but mainly take naps behind the counter and barter free pee for free pizza, free vacuum repair, free plumbing, you name it. Sounds like you were a terrible freaking employee. Oilfield. Started right out of high school, no experience, got my H2S and first aid, now I'm making over 100k a year at 18. I work crazy hours, but depending on what you do it isn't as difficult as people say. Try having a family and work the fields. Pro tip, save your cash and then buy a house with it and settle down. Liberty Tax mascot. You get to dress up as the symbol of freedom and dance outside the office. I don't know. I passed a particularly animated and over-the-top one this morning and I think the loss of dignity puts a big dent in the value of whatever you get paid. YouTube. In Canada you only need a high school diploma to become a civilian air traffic controller. It's tough to make the cut during post-training, but you'll be making good cash if you do. Gas attendant. Only 2 states left. Get paid to do what the rest of the USA does for free. Stripper. Definitely a stripper. If you're interested in cooking, go apply at a local restaurant and offer to wash dishes at the start. If you're a good dishwasher they'll move you up the ranks if you're attentive and listen well. All that garbage about having to go to culinary school to be a cook chef is a complete farce. I started working at a bar as a bouncer about 4 months ago. It's pretty freaking rad. The entire interview process was, word for word, do you have any problem with confrontation? Number, you'll be working from 9 PM to 4 AM. Is that a problem for you? Number, do you have any problem with occasionally mopping up puke? Number, okay, you've got the job. I was actually floored, because the bar I work at is corporately owned, and the application process online was very official, so I expected a much more thorough interview process. Cable guy. Spend your days helping people in their home who are always happy to see you, and in the evening read article after article about how you and your company are trying to destroy the fabric of the universe. Retail. Everyone should have a retail job once in their life, for at least 6 months. You need no experience, but you will learn a lot from it. First, you will probably learn what your ambition is. If you think folding clothes at the Gap and nothing else is not all that bad of a way to spend a year, college might not be your future path. If you're racing out of work to try and get in some classes, you will learn how to time manage like a pro. Secondly, you will learn social skills. The ability, or perhaps art of looking someone in the eye and have a conversation is something you need to practice. Without the glow of a phone nearby, it is possible. Third, you will learn that people, all people, are disgusting. Why is this important? Because once you realize that other people are human, you think before acting, and act a little nicer. Psychological fact. Fourth, most importantly, you will be a better shopper. If you've had to fold shirts for an hour, or serve people food for hours, or clean bathrooms, you will always remember that when you are on the other end. Sure, some of you will feel vengeance and be well, I cleaned this, so can they, but the vast majority will remember how much they hated when people acted up and avoid that same behavior. The old golden rule in effect. Bartenders. Bartending is definitely not an easy job to attain without experience. You usually have to spend at least a year working with the same restaurant for them to let you behind the bar, and it is competitive because of the potential earnings. Full-time bartenders usually make more than their managers. My first job out of college was as a repo man for a major bank. Entry-level position for my first 2 years there. Clearly I had no experience stealing cars. The idea was that this was a career path for loan officers. A good loan officer will understand the ramifications of making a bad loan. My career spanned 12 years with the bank. In Australia, the highest paid no skills required is the traffic lollipop person. You need to do a 1-day course for $109 and the pay is about $75 per HR. Yes, $75 per HR. Shelf stacking at Woolies. I love my night fill job. To be honest, all you need is genitals and somebody that's into your ugly face. And be at least somewhat attractive. Koala sex assistant. Sweeping machine driver. Drive a forklift-sized sweeper around during the night. Listen to whatever you want as loud as you want. Relatively good pay compared to other kinds of cleaning jobs. You have been visited by the money frog. He says frog money to get $200 on the street. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.